Thank you. Hi guys, how's it going today?
Hey Bonnie, hi, greetings.
Great,
Hi,
good to
Bonnie.
hi, good to meet you guys via Zoom. And James, let's just get right into this. This was unbelievable. Really, I honestly, I knew it was all there, but to see it all put into one big film, it's eye-opening. That is for sure. And I want to ask you, first of all, how daunting of an experience was it to put this together? Because let's put it this way, there's not a day that goes by that there's not footage of Donald Trump. So I can't imagine what this was like.
It was very daunting. It's also because I'm making a film on a market I don't know as well, so I don't know the rules as I know them in the UK. But somebody said to me, whatever you do, just start filming. Don't spend all day planning it and trying to make the perfect set of questions. And, it's never going to work the way you planned it. So, and that's exactly what happened. So we set about finding interviewees. I was very keen to have them from all sides of the political divide, both sides of the political divide. And I was, very keen to get this thing finished by June. Then we had a global pandemic, which of course delayed the film in a way I didn't want it to, but that's life. So in addition to racing around the country, finding all these fascinating people to speak to, we then had the challenge of a pandemic to finish the film. So yes, it was very daunting is the fast answer.
Well, no, I can imagine. Anthony, good to have the opportunity to meet you via Zoom. Why was it so important for you to be a part of this documentary?
Well, first of all, I'll start at the end. I thought the documentary came out amazing. I was a little disappointed in James that I didn't get more airtime, but we can have that conversation after the interview. Yeah. No, I'm teasing. The truth of the matter is, when he called me and said, I really am trying to write an objective, not write, but produce an objective film, I said, okay, I'm happy to participate. I'm happy to give you my honest assessment. Bonnie, I don't want to revise history about those moments. Whatever my feelings are about Mr. Trump today, in 2015 and 2016, he caught something in our society. And so if he leaves the stage on January 20th of next year, that is still a problem. There's still a systemic issue in the United States. And if he stays on the stage, I predict that issue, unfortunately, will get worse.
Yeah, I understand that, but you spent time, right there in the White House. Unfortunately, it didn't last that long for you, and I won't get into all the details of that. But
or maybe fortunately,
well, yeah, my feeling, fortunately, but I have to say, it's you were there, the inner workings, and I say the director of communications is a job I would never in a million years want. How scary was that for you for the short period of time that you had to stand up there in front of the press and spout the bullshit?
Well, I mean, if you go back to my press conference, I think one of the reasons why I wasn't going to last long in that job is that if you go back to the press conference, I was just answering the questions and I was answering them very plainly. Yeah. I don't even think I ever told James this, but I was leaving the press box 45 minutes on stage, probably 50 or so million people actually watched it around the world. I'm walking back upstairs to the Oval Office to see the president. My phone is ringing. I pick up the phone. It's somebody that both of you would recognize, somebody that's been in Republican opposition research for 3 decades. He says to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean, what am I doing?" She goes, "That was the worst press conference that I've ever seen." I said, "Why? Really? I thought it went pretty well." He said, "No, I've gotten calls from Senate aides and congressional aides saying, 'Who is this guy? We got to get rid of him.'" And I said, "Well, why is that?" "You can't tell the truth from that press box. The people of this culture inside the Beltway are allergic to the truth. They don't want you to tell the truth."
Yeah.
And I remember walking up the steps, listening on my phone to that. I said, "Oh man, this is not going to go well for me. I'm in a lot of trouble here." And then shortly thereafter, I'm blown out. I'm responsible for that. I was fired for my own stupidity. We can talk about that if you want. But the very next week, the president is talking about there being very fine people on both sides of the Charlottesville situation.
Yeah. Hello.
So I'm on George Stephanopoulos that weekend saying, "You can't talk like that." And so what happened was he weeded out the people that would tell him an honest assessment of what he was doing, whether it was Gary Cohen, myself, Jim Mattis, eventually John Kelly, who I became close friends with, even though he fired me, him and I became close personal friends. And I would just say to you that, yeah, it was a raucous, confusing period of time. I'm glad I lived it. It's made me more psychologically minded, more aware, but it also makes me understand the callousness of what's going on and the subsequent danger. The country is not going to do well if we do another 4 years of this.
Yeah, absolutely. James, I want to say, I always say that Donald Trump is like Teflon. Nothing sticks to that guy, nothing. And when you look at this film and you see it all come, put together, and then you look at what's going on right now with him and everything that comes out of his mouth, like, don't worry about COVID, you're going to be fine. And it blows my mind, even as a Canadian. It makes my blood boil. I can't, I just hope that people see your film and see this all put together. But what are you hoping that people will take after watching your doc?
Well, I think there's a lot to understand about 2016. And as you say, this was a candidate who made errors. If we were to sit down with the potential candidates and list a number of things you should never do, there's a joke we had with one of the interviewees that he could write a film about this. In other words, he committed every error he shouldn't make, and every time he made it, not only did it not kill him, it actually increased his numbers in the polls. Yeah. And this is insane. And if you look at elections all over the world, people have dropped out for far, far less, and that would just be one error. But in this case, inexplicably, and honestly, I'm not sure I could really give you the answer as to how or why, but whether he was rude about John McCain not being a war hero, whether he was rude about the Gold Star family, whether he was rude. I mean, I was watching his on the news, his launch speech at Trump Tower, and laughed at the guy next to me. This is going to be the shortest campaign anyone's ever seen, when he referred to Mexicans in the way he did. I mean, it's just extraordinary stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, you have Access Hollywood, which should have been, that was like weapons grade ammunition. That should have taken him out. Yeah. And it didn't. And not only did it not take him out of being the candidate, he wins the presidency. So, we've just seen this again with COVID, where allegedly now he's testing negative. I mean, he's kind of like the Keith Richards of politics. I don't really know what will kill him.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, we could talk about this forever. I just want to thank you both for your time today. I just found this documentary so fascinating, and best of luck, and just great opportunity to meet both of you via Zoom in this crazy world that we're living right now. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.